So Adam wants to paint the walls and ceiling of his room and his brother's room. Okay. When you're doing word problems, it's helpful to underline important words. Okay. Both rooms, so they're identical. Measure 4 by 6 by 5.8 with a height of 2.2 meters. Okay. So what do you think we're going to have to do if we're talking about paint? We're going to have to figure out the surface area of his rooms. So let's draw a quick little diagram here. Draw kind of a rectangle. Draw a rectangle kind of going backwards at a slant. Most of you probably recognize that as a parallelogram. And the last lines to draw would be this one here and the connector. That's good enough. Okay. Please put the measurements on the correct spots. You might want to start with the height so you don't make a mistake. So 2.2 absolutely has to go right there. 4.6 and 5.8 can flip-flop, that doesn't matter. Okay. So we need to find the surface area of one room and then double it. Okay. So find the surface area of one room. Now what aren't you going to find? I'll read it to you again. Adam wants to paint the walls and ceiling. Anna? That's right. I think his parents would freak out on him if he painted his carpet. So don't paint it. Please find that surface area right now. Go. Much better. Still 100, but we'll do. Oh, I know. They were very concerned, weren't they? Were you sick too the other day? Oh. Further, what should we do? Yeah, times it by 2 because there's 2 rooms. Okay. So still keep all your decimals. Don't round. If you rounded here, that's where you would have gone wrong. Okay, so just go times 2. 144.88. Again, don't round yet. Okay. So that's going to be meters squared. Now the paint, one pail covers 30 meters squared. So underline the 4, underline the 30 meters squared. So there's two ways to do this. Put your pens down, please. We can say 30 meters squared is one pail, and that covers, we have 144.88 meters squares to cover, so how many pails do we need? Okay, that's one way of doing this as a ratio. Now, doing your algebra, what happens is essentially these two kind of flip-flop. So what we're left with is we take our total surface area of 144.88 meters squared, and we divide it by the coverage, the coverage of one pail. Okay? And that's what you guys are probably more familiar with. So pick up your pencils. Please write that down. We're going to take the total area and divide it, that's a dividing line, by the area covered. Per pail. So we want to know how many groups of 30 are in there. That'll tell us how many pails we need. Okay, how many groups of 30 or how many pails? So go to your calculator, divide by 30. We have 4.8293 pails. So what do you think is going to happen to you if you, as a brilliant math student, went into Home Depot and said, hey, Mr. Paint Dude, I need 4.8 pails. Please give me 4.8, no more, no less. What would happen to you? Yeah, they would laugh at you until you were so embarrassed you left the store. Because you can't buy 4.8 pails. How many pails do you have to buy? 5. What if 4.1? If it was 4.1 pails, how many pails would you buy? 5. How many people say 4? You guys have a blank spot in one of the rooms because you don't have enough paint. You always, for specific application questions, if you get like 4.1 pails, you always have to round up. Okay? It's okay to have extra, but if you have a spot that's not covered with 2 coats of paint, not covered with a coat of paint, kind of look funny. Okay? Pardon me? Yeah, cover. Well, if you work for the school district, what you do is you cover it with a cupboard, and that's exactly what happened to Mr. Farley's room downstairs. They asked him, "Oh, are you going to be putting those cupboards back?" "Oh, yes, I am." "Okay, we're not going to paint here." So they didn't paint behind the cupboards. Now, at your house, you wouldn't do that because you probably move the furniture around once in a while, or at least your mom probably would because she gets restless and she needs something to do. Exactly. Yeah, you know it. Okay. So what we have to do is, no matter what, we got to round to 5 pails. And again, even if you had 4.1, you'd have to round to 5 pails. So now we got to figure out our cost. Each pail is $42.50. Well, again, you could do this doing a ratio, which we do next unit. $40.50 for one pail would equal how much then for 5 pails? And a lot of you are going to say, what? What do you want to do? Take this and times it by 5. That's exactly what you do to solve the ratio. Okay? So you got to round to 5 pails. And so for our math, it would be $42.50 times 5 would equal our total. So, why would you lose marks for writing that down? Mia? Sorry? Well, this is dollars now, right? Because we're taking $42.50 times it by 5 for each pail. Fiction. That's right. See how you're smarter than your calculator? Your calculator never puts a 0 there because it's not needed. But you, being the brilliant math student, realize, oh, that's money. With money, we always have 2 decimals. Say it again. Money always has? Good. Okay. And for you Frenchies, in English, $sign goes in front. Okay? So just to remind you, nothing wrong with that. I don't take marks off because I know why you do it now, but it does go in front. Okay? Any questions? I think I covered everything. One simple question. Was it pretty intense? Yeah, you got to remember to do a lot. Okay? So let's look at the next one. Can you please read it? So what we got here is a ring. You've seen this before. It's a cutout question. What we want to do is find both cylinders, and then what do we want to take away? Specifically, what do we want to take away? How many? 4. So we want to take away 4 small circles. 2 on the top and 2 for the bottom. Diction? Sorry, just couldn't hear. Don't worry about the waist part. If you want to go 2 circles, though, the ring will go in here. Right? Because we'll have those all 4 holes. 2 on top and 2 on the bottom. Now, for you guys, construction people, if your parents are in construction, you might know this. They always add 5% or 10% extra for waste. So when you buy a carpet, say you need 10 square meters, well, they make you buy like 11 square meters because they're going to have to cut things like the doorway, there's that beam going down, there's this cupboard shelf, and so it might not fit perfectly in there, and that's why they always buy a bit extra for waste. Especially like wood floors, it's usually 10% extra because they got all of these cuts at the end, right? And for like a little short board like that, you don't want that in your floor. You want to have a nice long piece of board in your floor so it's secure. Right? It looks better, all that stuff. So they always buy extra material because of waste. Okay? So something just for an application type question that sometimes does come up. You buy extra material for waste. Okay? So what we have to do is just find our total surface area and then get 5% more. So that'll be like the very last step. All right? So let's keep going here. Let's do the small cylinder first. Nice printing marker. Okay, so surface area equals 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. What's the radius of the small one? Good, radius equals 4. So it'll be 4 squared, which is not 8. Okay, so tell me how many pi's at the front, how many pi's at the back, and tell me the total number of pi's altogether. Okay. Carolina, question or answer? Paige, how many pi's at the front? Good. Miranda, how many at the back? 24. And Eva, how many altogether? Good job. Okay, 56 pi's. I love pie. Okay, then we'll do a large cylinder. Oh, sorry, we have a new student in our class, Dustin. Okay, so who else got 80 pi? Whew, good. Okay, Mr. Barker's Feeling good enough to be here. Now, let's do the cutout. Again, what is the cutout? No, 4 circles isn't good enough. 4 small circles. Ravi, you have a question?
What is that?
This?
No, never mind.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is a bit of a weird one. It's because the cylinder is very short and wide that the cutout surface area, 64 pi, actually equals more than what the small cylinder was. Kind of weird, isn't it? Okay, but it's just because it's a short cylinder but very wide cylinder. Okay. This is pardon. Oh. So, hands up if you got 72 pi. Awesome. What's left on the question? Fiction? 5%. So, anytime you find a percentage of something, it's a multiplication. 72 pi times, but what number do you have to use? Because 5% is not a real number. That's just a faker. Right? It's like faking an injury, just a faker. What do you say? 0.5? Close, so close. 0.5, okay, good. Also, you have some awesome math teachers. So 5%, the fake number, the real thing is the decimal. Now go to your calculator, and since you're going to your calculator for a final answer, you should get a decimal for it. Okay? So 72 times pi times 0.05. 11.3097 centimeters squared. Does it say what to round to? No. Let's round to the nearest hundredth. Hundredth. H-U-N-D-R-E-D-T-H. How many decimal places is the nearest hundredth? Ha 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 ha. Neha, what do you think? Good. Okay, so it's going to be 2 decimals. So underline the second decimal, look to round. Final answer is Isabella. Nope. So the 0 is here, you look to the 9, round the 0 up. 1. Perfect. Good job, Isabella. 11.31 centimeters squared. You know what we should do for final answers? Teachers love this stuff. Like, we just think you guys are the greatest. When you put a circle or a box around the number, it makes it so easy to mark.